Ratchet & Clank the movie sucked.
Ratchet & Clank the movie game. Awesome. Go buy it.
Washington Post gave Uncharted 4 a 4 out of 10. That's bullshit. That view imminent.
The Infinity is kaput and the team shut down. Super sad. Good luck to you guys. We love you all.
A petition for Marvel vs. Capcom 4. Good luck with that.
Star Fox Zero. Terrible single-player game. The best accidental multiplayer game on the Wii U.
And this is a Zenny saved! Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to A Zenny Saved. If you'll notice, this is the 5th numbered episode of A Zenny Saved because episode 4 was trash and we could not save it. Also, it was really late. So, here we go, episode 5, mostly on time and up to date with current events. Let's go.
Anyhow, as this is the week before E3, there is a lot of news to go over.
It's exciting.
First, we're going to talk about some non-pre-E3 news. We're not going to talk about the leaks quite yet. Leaks and then,
we're going to work up to
oops, we leaked it stuff. We're going to go over some actual in-the-industry news, some of which is ridiculous. Starting off with this news, the other day, Microsoft accidentally priced Fallout 4 and its Season Pass at $0.00. People immediately started downloading this on the internet to their accounts like gangbusters. Within 2 hours, the game or the ability to download the game was pulled, and they announced today that all the licenses are going to be taken away from people. And I don't know. I understand why, and that we now live in a modern age. I just feel like a few years ago, when this sort of mistake would happen, and it has happened in the past, they would just be like, well, they got it.
Darn
it's theirs for free.
Shit.
But now things have advanced well enough where they can just individually point out, you downloaded it on this day, at this price.
Oh, at this time.
At this time? Nah, man, that's not yours.
Don't pay what he owe.
First of all, how does that happen? Like, how does that... Somebody had to have manually
Somebody got fired.
Oh, I assure you. Somebody got fired.
Or saving some unpaid leave.
And then somebody at Bethesda probably yelled really, really loudly at the Microsoft folks. It's just, how does that happen without somebody actually going in and changing the price on whatever system they use? It baffles me. But hey, Fallout 4 at $0.00, a must buy.
Cannot lose, literally.
That's the right price.
Oh wow, oh boy. I feel like depending on how many people got away with it. If it's
the numbers in the thousands.
In the thousands. If it's not like tens of thousands, I would have just been like, let them have it.
Again, I don't see why they didn't.
I understand the profit motive, but sometimes you got to be the cool uncle when you're these companies and you fuck up. You just be the cool uncle and just let it slide and then fix it, and then moving forward, and people will be talking about you like, oh man, this season pass was $0 for like 2 hours one day. People are gonna love you for that, and then they're gonna keep coming back.
It was
spending money.
It was $60 for a game and then $50 for the season pass.
Yeah.
So that's like $110 loss multiplied by thousands.
Was it the game and the pass?
It was the game and the pass.
Oh, wow.
It was both.
Wow.
Which is why people were like, yeah, I'm going to download that onto my account. Hell yeah. I guarantee you somebody walked into a GameStop last night, traded in their copy of Fallout 4 thinking that they got a digital copy for free. and then woke up today going,
yeah, the odds are not very long that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, bro. Whoever you are, you didn't got.
You tried your best. You got played. You played yourself.
Okay.
Up next. Sony officially made a statement on the PS4 Neo, or the PS4K, everything that's been rumored to be. Yes, it'll play in 4K, but now the language has changed. Instead of saying that all games will play on both versions of the PlayStation 4, they're now saying that most games should run the same on both. Most.
No, sir, I don't like it.
I also don't care for that, Mr. Horse. It does not please me. It is going to create a straight up demarcation in ownership. That it reminds me of the new 3DS and the 3DS itself.
Yeah.
There's like 2 or 3 games that are exclusive to the new 3DS that you can't play on the old 3DS. Plus, for some reason, you can't play like the SNES Virtual Console games on the older 3DS. I don't know why either. I don't even know how to get into that because that doesn't make any sense to me. But this is going to cause that demarcation again if games are divided, and especially if they're major games.
Yeah.
Like, I would hate it if the newest God of War game is Neo exclusive,
right?
Or has Neo exclusive content.
Yeah.
That would piss me off more than anything.
Yeah.
And that would make me feel like, as a guy who bought the PS4 day one, that my purchase wasn't worth the money.
Exactly.
I now have to upgrade after 2 years of ownership.
Yeah.
Like, we are not PC gamers. We can't just be changing parts left and right.
I think it's a bad move. And I don't have a 4K TV. I don't feel like dropping the money on a 4K TV yet. You know?
Right.
The nice thing about 4K TVs is they're pushing the price down on 1080p TVs like crazy.
Oh, I know.
That's awesome.
That's a benefit.
But I don't have anything against it, but I'm just not dropping that kind of money on television right now. I have a great TV, you know? So that's not anywhere near broke.
Right. So, like, if the
incentive... You get the 4K, you get the PS4 Neo or PS4K, and to justify owning it, you got to get a 4K TV. This is vertical integration bullshit where you buy one thing and then to even justify that thing, you have to buy more shit, and it just keeps piling on. And
now they seem to be trying to justify it with potential content that's squared off to just the Neo owners.
Yeah. Like,
I think it's smart that they are not going to be doing anything about it at E3 this year. Mm-hmm. Like they said, it's not going to be at E3. They're not going to see it on the floor or anything. We're not going to talk about it. Good, because you need to start talking to your PR folks
about how you're going to sell it.
Because see, the thing is, you're not selling this system to folks that don't have a PlayStation already. You need to sell this to us.
Yeah.
We already own a PlayStation 4. Why the hell should we upgrade?
Exactly. People who don't own a PlayStation 4 yet are they're going to buy whatever the latest one is.
They'll buy whatever the cheapest one is.
For the value, yeah. It depends. It depends on how much the 4K costs. I will say that.
They've said it'll cost more.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
but then, people are going to go in and say, oh, there's a 4K. Well, how much is that? $500 or whatever. And then the PS4 is already down to $300, $350 maybe.
Yeah, sometimes $250 depending on what store you go to.
Yeah. And it's like, well, I don't need that shit. And they're just going to get the PS4, not the 4K.
So, unless they've got some sort of grandiose scheme, which doesn't sound like it makes too much sense no matter what way you cut it.
I mean, the PS4 is doing really well right now. And
it's the market leader.
It's the market leader by a wide margin. And I'm worried that, not because of winners or losers, but I'm worried that they're going to sabotage their brand by doing this, because if you do things that stratify your market, you're just hurting yourself and you're hurting the consumer base. So it's like, okay, the VR proposition is already risky enough. Like that's already a huge investment on the R&D side and the sales on their side. Like that's a huge risk and investment. And then that's a huge risk on the consumer side. Mm-hmm. If people get on board, even the PS4 VR or the PlayStation VR, I should say, is $400 out of the box, and that doesn't include everything you need.
That's just the headset.
That's just the headset. If you didn't save your Move controllers, if you already traded those in, then you got to go buy some more.
Additional ridiculousness from that. Move controllers before the VR was announced were $9 used. They shot up to $25 in price once the VR was
sons
announced.
of bitches. I'm glad. I think I still have one. I might have two.
I have two. I still have one in the box.
Like I traded most of my Move stuff in a couple years ago, and I held on to a little bit of it just to be on the safe side, right? And I'm like, I don't know, they might put out a hit, just maybe. So I still got a couple controllers in there, but man, if you don't have them and you want to get on the VR train, and
it's gonna be expensive now.
Like that's still the cheapest one. Like the PC ones are crazy money, and then it doesn't include the rig you need to run it.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And then you got the PS4K. I guess that's supposed to be like
PS4 Neo.
The foundation for the VR, like the processing power, but that doesn't have anything to do with your headset, capabilities. That's just a different box for TV games.
It doesn't make any sense. I think that in summation, PS4 Neo, Sony, you just played yourself.
You just played yourself. Yeah, I feel like they're throwing too much out too quickly.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna hurt themselves.
Not great
on this. We will be watching closely. I think everyone will. But next.
So up next is news for Mega Man fans.
Mega Man.
Jump and Shoot Man is getting a new cartoon coming soon. Actually coming next year from the folks at Man of Action, who are the group of writers that created Ben 10 and Generator Rex.
Yeah.
So
okay. Those are pretty
they also work on Spider-Man Unlimited and the Avengers show that are currently running on.
Yeah. So these guys have some pedigree.
So they have some pedigree. They know what they're doing pretty well. They previewed the new Mega Man, and he looks all right. Looks fine. So his name is Aki Light, who is a young boy who transforms into Mega Man. He has his robot dog Rush, but he has a smaller robot that lives inside his head called Mega Mini that climbs out of his helmet and is also a robot.
You're scaring me, Pete.
We'll just flash up the image real quick so we can scare other people as well. Oh God. The Joe Kelly, who's been a longtime comic book writer and also is one of the writers on Man of Action, has been trying as best as he can to calm people like Kevin down. He's been on Twitter. He's just said, everybody, this is in its early phases. We want you all to give it a chance. This is not the same character that's existed for 30 plus years now. This is a new version for a new generation that we all really just need to give it a chance once we all see it in motion.
What have you done to Mega Man, and why do you deserve to live?
Well, it's not as bad as Capcom canceling another thing related to Mega Man.
I guess not.
It could be worse.
Could be a punch in the dick. But I'm not going to say thank you because it's not.
Could be a mini punch in the dick. Needless to say, the fan base is pretty split between people going, I guess I'll wait and see, and others going, oh God, why?
And, hey, we're building the scaffolding to hang these people. Are you coming? Bring hot dogs.
Accurate. So yeah, that's going to happen next year for one of Mega Man's anniversaries. And, the Sonic Boom cartoon ended up being really entertaining and funny, whereas the Sonic Boom games are just complete and utter garbage.
Is there more than one?
There's one on the 3DS, there's one on the Wii U, and there's another one coming called Fire and Ice on the 3DS. In time for Sonic's 25th anniversary.
So they can shit on it.
They delayed it twice now to improve it. So,
because to make it playable, if the previous one is anything to go by, to make sure the floors work.
The point is, this Mega Man cartoon could be okay. Here's the thing that we got to remember: we're 30-year-old gamers that grew up with Mega Man. this is not made for us.
Yeah, I know
This is
that.
made for young boys aged 6 to 12.
I know. I hope it's good. Let me just say, I hope it's good. I don't want anything to be bad.
No. The funny thing is, going back to Capcom,
yeah,
they're in the new skin.
Yay!
They released info for Street Fighter V Story Mode. It sure is going to be 5 to 6 hours long, with at least an hour's worth of cutscenes. And the cool thing that they announced is that the characters that have not yet been released for DLC, the last few remaining ones, like Juri Han and Balrog, they will be playable within the story mode.
Honda?
No, Juri Han.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought they were kind of ranting. I was like, Honda, what are you talking about?
Surprise, we're releasing E-Honda. You know, the most fan-favorite Street Fighter character of all time, E-Honda. The one that every single Street Fighter fan's been asking for. E-Honda. What's that? No, Akuma's in like the new Tekken game.
He's on vacation. Trying to kill Heihachi or something.
The fuck is a Q? So they announced this, and at the same time, they announced the end of the Zenny sales.
Yeah. Oh.
And here's the thing. Why didn't this exist in the first place? Because this was the dumbest thing they had.
Yeah.
They had fight money, which you earn by playing the game. They had a season pass, which you could purchase with real money for $29.99. And then they had the individual characters and costumes that you could buy using real-life money converted into Zenny. Why was this a thing?
The exchange rate of which is terrible.
Right. It wasn't even like 1-to-1 for anything.
No.
But
not even 1 to 10.
No, like if you bought a character with Zenny, it ended up spending like way more in terms of dollar value.
Yeah.
So now, thankfully, they're just like, no, we're done.
It was so broken that they had the good sense to just scrap it. Just put it on the PlayStation Store. It's already up there. It's already there.
Yeah.
It's already there.
So now each character will be $6. Costumes will be a couple of dollars.
It's like, why aren't we up and running yet? The developers, the software engineers are just like, I can't do it. I can't do it.
I like how they sound vaguely Spanish.
Yeah. Just vaguely Spanish, Japanese coders.
I don't think you understand. There is a language barrier.
You just got to get the Zenny in there for when people use real money, and it works separately from the fight money in the season pass. I can't do it.
You have like the vaguely French guy walks in. Qu'est-ce que le Zenny?
Qu'est-ce que c'est merde? I think I said what is this shit, but I might have put
you did. Qu'est-ce que c'est le merde? C'est une sheep.
So no Zenny system.
So no more Zenny system.
I'm okay with that. Bye.
I'm super okay with that.
Yeah.
Because it was confusing. And of course, they announced this and people are freaking out like, wait, you mean all of our fight money is not gonna, we can't buy characters that way anymore? No. Because this was so confusing and stupid in the first place, you still have your fight money. You can still buy characters with fight money. One of the nice things that they announced is you will, if you go through the story mode once on normal and then once on hard, you will earn a total of 80,000 Zenny. And that's...
Fight money.
I'm sorry, fight money. God, you see what they do to me? And, so you earn 80,000, which is, 4/5 of the way of getting a new character.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool of them. Good on you, Capcom. You're finally doing some things right.
Now, the last thing you need to do, Capcom, is raise the reward of fight money per online match from 50 to 100, like it was in the beta, because 50 fight money per fight is obscene.
Yeah.
Based considering the amount of fight money you get to spend on items and characters and crap.
Yeah,
just that little bump, man. Just bring it back, okay? Come on.
Yeah, I've got a buddy of mine on Facebook who every time I am judgmental of Street Fighter V, he's like, but they released a quality tournament fighter. And then I want to sit here and be like, but in whose eyes?
Right.
Again, as a consumer, as a person who has paid $60 for this game, I have not received $60 worth of content.
Yeah. a quality tournament fighter that should not have been $60 at release.
Right. And
I could have respected $30 at release.
I would have respected $40.
Yeah.
I would have. And then, charge $30 for the season pass for the new characters. Like, okay.
Yeah.
That
I
makes sense.
could have respected that. But full price? Not in my house.
At this point, Street Fighter V is still not a full-price game.
Yeah.
But supposedly at the end of the month, they're going to be releasing Ibuki and the story mode at the same time. Maybe we'll have I feel like we need to have like a banner that says Street Fighter V Watch.
Yeah. Like, okay, Street Fighter is like, or Capcom via Street Fighter V is like that guy, that bum alcoholic who always trying to borrow money from you.
Yeah.
And is like, has all these promises down the road about how he's about to get his act together. And he's like, come on, man.
Man, I'm just trying, I gotta get a bus to
You
get
know
to
I'm
work.
good. You know I'm good for it. Come on, man. You know I'm good for it. This is gonna be it, man. We're gonna do better. All right, just come on.
Like, he starts crying in the middle of it.
Please buy my game. We're good for it, man. Like, May, we ain't hear nothing out of Capcom. So, like,
right.
The end of the month, beginning of June. And they're just like, oh, hey, guys, sorry we haven't been speaking to you or returning your text messages or emails. We have just been busy getting our shit together. Ibuki's running a little late, changing her makeup, and
I love how in that post they're like, we want to improve the quality of communication and the quality of the gameplay in Street Fighter V. And then in the Ibuki trailer, they left the mouse cursor in the trailer.
What
it's
is
there. And by the way, they've never bothered replacing it,
yeah,
which means that they're like,
it's 2 seconds.
It's like 5 seconds, and it's there. And I think that we'll get a screenshot of it to put up here just to show, like, how do you make an announcement saying we want to improve our quality, and then have noticeable error?
I don't know how they captured it so that the mouse was still in the shot. Like, what were they using?
I think the answer is poorly.
I've never even heard of that.
Again, I feel like if I give him money for the bus, he's just going to go end up at the ABC
He's going
store.
to walk to the ABC stores.
Oh, Capcom. Why do you keep doing this?
I'm good for it.
I swear, I'm starting to wonder if there was something in the water at Capcom in the mid-2000s, because between that and Keiji Inafune's weirdness with Mighty Number 9 and those advertisements, it makes me wonder how the
Where's that game?
Maybe September. Maybe July. Maybe whenever.
It's even worse that they kickstarted it. That makes it worse.
And then, but then
I'll gladly take a hamburger today for payment tomorrow. Was it? I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today.
Yeah,
it's Tuesday, motherfucker. Oh my god.
Yeah, at this point, it makes you wonder how anybody over at Platinum got away with their sanity.
Right?
Like, I don't know how all those fine quality producers managed to get out with dignity intact.
I can't do it.
Because boy, howdy, Capcom.
Yeah. Jeez.
Okay, that said, now we're gotten past the industry news. Let's talk about pre-E3 leaks. Pre-E3 leaks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let 'em
E3's
flow.
coming up. Woo!
So, LEGO Dimensions version 2 coming. Includes the new Ghostbusters.
Wait, the controversial new Ghostbusters?
Yes.
Oh my.
Very much yes.
But they're brick ladies.
Brick ladies.
They're busting ghosts and they're brick ladies. They're ruining my childhood.
Yep. One brick lady at a time. One plastic hairpiece at a time.
All right.
And the Goonies. Adventure Time. Goonies for some reason.
Goonies and Adventure Time just sounds like that's going to be the best mashup level.
Yeah.
Just
Adventure Time, Gremlins, Mission Impossible, E.T., and
Sonic the Hedgehog. To be fair, it is his 25th anniversary this year.
Shut up.
So, like, Sega's been right now, the only game that Sega has announced for their anniversary is Sonic Boom Fire and Ice on the 3DS, which, again, they delayed multiple times to make better. That said, they keep on hinting at another game. So apparently this other game is not going to be announced at E3, but might be announced closer to Sonic's actual birthday. There's a couple of Sonic, like official Sonic-themed party events that are coming up, like a concert and whatnot. So maybe we'll see about that. But in the meantime, how cool is it that there is a video game that combines Ghostbusters, Doctor Who, Portal, The Simpsons, Sonic the Hedgehog, Gremlins, Mission Impossible, Scooby-Doo. I just could keep going with all the, like, Wizard of Oz. Like,
it's crazy.
Somehow Warner Brothers has helped the fine folks at Telltale Games lock down these licenses through the Lego folks. It would be amazing. It's not going to happen. It would be amazing if they somehow made an agreement to have the Marvel heroes appear with the DC heroes in this game.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Like, it's not going to happen, but it would be so cool if they can somehow hammer that out.
Right.
But in the meantime, this is just ridiculous, and I love it.
Yeah. It all comes down to who gets paid. That's the only reason all this great stuff doesn't happen, is you have more than one person trying to get paid.
You gotta make the Zenny trade hands.
You're like, but we want the money. But we want the money. You guys could share the money. Kill him. You know. So.
Oh no. Up next, a trailer that was leaked thanks to Twitch advertising. Watchdogs 2.
Hey, I'm gonna comment on that after you.
I don't have any comment on.
No comment on Watchdogs.
Just that. Never again, Ubisoft. You tricked me once. I fell for Watchdogs. I was like, this is gonna be amazing. I bought your season pass at launch, guys.
Ooh,
I paid more money than God had at the time for the Watchdogs experience, only to watch it trickle down to, at one point, you get the digital copy of the game and the season pass for like $10 at a sale once, and I was like,
oh my God.
That sounds about right for Watchdogs.
That's like getting in touch with cigarettes.
I just know, like cigars. I saw everything for Watchdogs 2, and it doesn't actually, like, it all looks in-game engine this time.
It doesn't look like bullshots this time.
No bullshots this time, but that said, I don't give a crap. I don't have a single fuck to give for fucking Ubisoft or Watchdogs right now. If you have any commentary, I would love to hear it.
Well, here is my perspective. Literally yesterday was when I found out about it. I was like, oh, Watch Dogs 2. I don't know. Watch Dogs 1 was kind of whack. It'd take a miracle for me to really even give a shit about this game. And then the main character is a black hacker from Oakland. And I was like, shit.
But I didn't know that fact.
But I'm intrigued just from a character story point perspective. Black, protagonists are a little thin on the ground in video games and movies and TV and pretty much everything. So different discussion for a different night. But as a black guy, I'm like, hey, that's interesting. Some more representation. Cool. Hopefully I can justify buying this game because the last one was a huge letdown. And then people, racists are coming out of the woodwork. Anytime anybody who's not a white dude gets anything, and they're just like, this is PC bullshit. This is affirmative action. This is, liberal propaganda or whatever. And I'm like, really? Really? And we're the sensitive ones? Okay. It's one black dude out of 100 video game characters per year.
How do you think these people react to games where you can create a character?
Yeah.
Of any gender.
Well, it's not
of any race.
Well, they still if
and then can be in relationships with the same sex.
Oh, we have documented evidence of this. They freak out.
Oh.
And even it's not even mandatory, but the fact that the option is in the game drives me crazy.
As a middle-aged white male at this point in my life, freaking out.
What's the problem?
It's just the black guy.
Why you hollering?
It doesn't seem to me like it would.
Hollering?
See, that's the thing. It does provide a different perspective. As a white guy, I don't have any perspective living as a black male, other than what my friends and family tell me. Full disclosure, my brother-in-law is black, so he tells me a lot about what it's like, and he tells me a lot about what it's like being married into a white family.
And honestly,
that's an experience I don't get that often. So now I have a chance to play as one, as a modern African American male, and get some new perspectives.
But it kills me, man, because it's like most of the heroes in games are still white dudes. So like, why are you mad?
And then the same people would turn around and bitch about Call of Duty having the exact same protagonist.
You know, they complain about games being the same shit, you know, over a course of a franchise, whatever. But then like, and another point is, Aiden Christensen was his last name in Watchdogs 1.
I want to point out that you just said Hayden Christensen, and that's the actor.
Aiden.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's
Aiden.
still dangerously close to the actor who played as Anakin Skywalker.
Right. Shout out to my boy Hayden Christensen. Hope you stay employed, bro.
He married Rich. He's fine.
Yeah, he'd be alright. Shout out, man. If you can marry Rich, marry Rich. Fuck it. And I don't hate that at all. So we were actually having a conversation about this earlier, but that's not important. But
we were.
The main character, I don't know his last name. Fuck that guy. The main character in Watch Dogs 1, Aiden something.
Aiden Whitebread.
Yeah. Aiden stale piece of white bread Johnson.
White bread, milk gravy.
Is like the most uninteresting of the brown-haired white men in like a decade's worth of video games. He's like top 5 least interesting. Like, holy crap, I don't care about anything he cares about or is motivated by. Like,
no. And part of that came to the performance of the voice actor, which was abysmal.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't so bad it was funny, like in the early PlayStation 2 era.
Right.
It was just straight up bored, like Hayden.
It was like aggressively mediocre.
It was aggressively mediocre. And I had more fun screwing around in Watch Dogs and doing side missions than I did going forward with the story.
Yeah.
Which I think says a lot about the game, that I was just like, I don't care to move forward.
Right. There's a lot of reasons you change up a main character, and one of the good reasons that they did, and happens a lot in games, is the character from the last game was just, I can't even get a word out. The character from the last game was boring. Like, nobody cares. People actively dislike that guy. Like,
oh yeah, I think. And
then the story reeked of like rewrites or something, where he's really obsessed with avenging his dead niece, and he has a really conflicting and complicated relationship with his sister and her son, where it seems like the story was originally supposed to be his ex-wife and his son and his daughter, and then they might have like changed it halfway through development or something. It's really
bizarre
weird
structure
and strains credulity, because you're just like, yo, why is this guy running around killing a bunch of people, hacking the city over his damn niece? Like,
he must have really, really loved his niece. And just so we're clear, it is his biological sister.
Yeah, and
so it's not like
husband is not in the picture anywhere.
Yeah, so it's not like he cheated on his brother's wife and made this niece that's actually his daughter.
Yeah.
Which that
might have been interesting.
That would have been an interesting element to this character, but no, he's like Whitey McPerfectson, but now he's got an angry edge to him.
Yeah.
And I
walk around in the daytime with a mask up and a trench coat.
Yeah, like, and the thing is, like, he's walking around in a trench coat, mask up, and it's clearly summertime.
Yeah.
There's people in shorts.
Yeah.
Do you that's got to be hot. I feel like he would like run one block and just be like, oh, and then just collapse from heat exhaustion.
Yeah. So you have the problem of a character establishing a franchise, but the character
with the iconic hat and dragon.
Yeah, because we just have to know what iconic means. That's another problem. Jim Sterling did a great episode on that. Go watch Jimquisition after you watch this.
Link right here.
Yeah, but Aiden is not an interesting character. Nobody gives a fuck about Aiden. Literally nobody. He's just not. He's not interesting. Period. So when you do the sequel and you say, okay, we want to change the character up. Obviously, you have to make that character just from a design standpoint, not a political, social justice, diversity, representation standpoint. From a design standpoint, you have to make that character distinct from the character that sucked. So if you go from one boring ass brown-haired white male to another brown-haired white male, you're not conveying to the audience that this is a new, fresh approach to the game or a new, fresh story, really, just from glancing at it. If a new character who's distinct from the previous one is going to make people immediately say, oh, what's different about this game? There's a new character. What's he about? It's going to make people interested. It's going to make people start asking questions. So it was either going to be a person of color or a woman, a white woman, or a woman of color, or some variation of that, and not just another brown-haired white dude. Like, you just have to just breathe, take a Valium, drink some water, and just relax. The game will be whatever the game will be. It's Ubisoft. Could go either way. We don't know. So I'm not going to go to the mat for Ubisoft because we know what they do. They're like the EA of Europe, so we're just going to wait and see. But from a design standpoint, people who are mad about, the new character, y'all need to relax, man.
Yeah.
So Watchdogs 2, I would just straight up sleep on it, but the new character has me at least curious. I'll keep an eye on it. Not gonna pre-order it, but I'll definitely keep an eye out for the reviews. Hopefully, it turns out better than the last one.
I think it's interesting that a 1-30 trailer has elicited more conversation than I think the first game has in its entirety.
The first game was just like, the graphics! And then when we got in the game, we were like, the graphics. And then... a month.
I literally just played Grand Theft Auto 5 on the PlayStation 3 the other day. It looks rather samey.
Yeah. And then the PC version, people were really hot because they were like, the graphics. And then you start rooting through the source files and you're like, the graphics!
They're still there. They're just not there.
Yeah. So, why would you hide them from us? Honestly, and as a console gamer, I honestly don't see what the big deal is. If you can go hard on PC graphics, go hard on the PC graphics. You don't have to hold back on the PC side to make me feel good about myself. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, you know that we got different stuff, guys.
We understand.
We paid for the convenience.
I bought the PlayStation. My friend bought the Xbox. My other friend bought the PC. And we know what we're going to expect. Just give people what they expect,
Yeah.
Gosh, especially when you sold the game looking like that. Especially then. Because Watch Dogs doesn't look bad.
No.
But they sold it on looking a lot better. And that's the problem.
It doesn't look bad. They sold it on looking amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they had just put it out as it actually looked, then nobody would have said shit. Like...
So, one trailer to another. Injustice 2. No gods among us or anything.
No,
just Injustice 2.
I'm okay with that.
And it was entirely a cinematic trailer, pre-rendered, featuring the heroes just punching each other. Flash, Aquaman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman. But this time it also features armor. And they released some details, the nice folks at Other Realm Studios.
Mm-hmm.
They said that every person will have a customizable version of their own hero that they work on. So each one will level up, and you can put different skill sets and different armor and different gear into that character, really making them your own. That said, when it comes time for Evo, no armor, no upgrades, no items, final destination, all Batmans. Let's go. Seriously, that's how I imagine it. And I would say more about Injustice 2, but that's all we know right now.
I understand the whole no items, no etc. thing as far as fighting game tournaments. I am interested in, I don't know if they do this in some kind of unofficial capacity, tournaments that allow all that stuff. Just throw everything. If it's in the game, it's in the tournament. Like those kinds of like fights where it's not just about your fighting skill, but also your resource management and your loadout. Like, yeah, okay, so this such and such a guy has the best Scorpion, or has the best Superman, or has the best I don't know, whoever. But this guy has a pretty good Superman and is really good at resource management, and it could go either way at this point. Like, I think that would be exciting.
That would be exciting to watch. The closest thing that I've seen is that there have been a couple of Smash Brothers tournaments for Smash 4 since they introduced custom movesets, where they pre-made every possible permutation of a custom moveset for a character, and then when you go into the tournament, you choose that one that you want.
Yeah.
So,
see, that's interesting.
That's the closest thing that I've seen. But
like
that's cool.
You can live and die not just on your dexterity, but your decision-making skills, your tactics before the fight even starts.
Yeah. So I think that would be cool. But that said, I know how Evo is going to go.
Yeah. They just want
no items.
Strip it down.
But the one benefit that we did see is that Supergirl is in the game.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yay! So yeah, Injustice 2, Electric Boogaloo. Gonna be great. That said, let's go into our game reviews for today.
So we've got. You want to go first? When we go first?
I think you should go first today.
Okay. In the interest of, I don't know, chronologicalness. That's not a word.
Chronology.
It's right there. It's right there. In the interest of chronology, we'll start with Uncharted 4 and move forward from there. Oh, before I talk about Uncharted 4, Firewatch. That was a game I wanted to talk about. And just briefly, it's pretty good, but there's a lot of performance issues. Like, the frame rate stutters a lot.
Really?
A lot. Like, I can't help but notice it. And I'm a really forgiving visual guy. Like, people will be like, screen tearing. And I'm just like, it was fine.
Yeah.
But no. Firewatch, you guys, indie development is not an excuse. Get your frame rate tight. Alright?
If I was upset about it in Deadpool, I'm not going to be happy about it when an independent studio does it.
Yeah. So, it's a really interesting story, interesting gameplay mechanics. I feel like the exploration should have been more open because you're in the forest, but there are paths that you can go to and there are invisible walls. Like, there's fences and bushes and stuff that keep you from going there, but so you're not just going into an invisible wall and it looks like it's open. That's not the case. It's designed. It's composed. That's not the issue. But I feel like a forest environment they should have worked on it so that you could get to move around a little more freely. The characters are really interesting. The story is really nice. It ends. Some people didn't like the ending. Some people like it. I feel like it ends on kind of a down note. Like, it could have had more of a payoff, but I understand what they're trying to do, and it was pretty cool. Like, there's a mystery, and then the big twist is like, oh, really? Okay. All right then, whatever. But definitely a game people should experience. So my main issues were limited exploration and frame rate stutters a little too much. Just, it's, the art direction is really nice. So I think the asking price on that game is like $20. I would say save yourself a little money, get it for 10 or 15 if it's ever on sale. But yeah, shout out to Firewatch. Just wanted to get that out there because we missed it in the Lost episode 4, and just wanted to mention that game because it was pretty cool. Uncharted 4. So, A Thief's End. It's Drake's last adventure, we hope. And this is the first time Naughty Dog has crossed generations with a franchise. Crash Bandicoot was PlayStation. Jak and Daxter was PlayStation 2. Uncharted was PlayStation 3. And one game on PS4.
Last of Us. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, and Last of Us was just the one game. We might get another one. We'll see. I'm halfway on them making another Last of Us because it ended so perfectly. It's like, I feel like you would diminish the previous game by making another one.
Unless they made it completely different characters.
You know, like take what you learned from Last of Us and apply it to a new idea.
Well, it seems like they kind of did that. Only they applied it to Uncharted 4.
I don't know.
A little bit.
I feel like it's still very much an Uncharted game.
Oh yeah.
So with that said, it's a lot of fun. The graphics are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
They never miss an opportunity to impress you. The set pieces aren't as grandiose or as impressive as, or not impressive, but as ambitious as Uncharted 2 or 3. Where Uncharted 3 had the problem of just set pieces.
Yeah.
And were not coherently strung together.
Right.
You know.
The nice thing about this game is that everything in the storyline makes sense. Where they go and why they go to it makes sense. And then it also justifies why they have different visual styles at every point. Although you really do spend the majority of the game in sort of this one environment.
Mm-hmm.
In this sort of broken down, like middle America style environment that is covered in foliage. And that's when I looked around and I was like, this reminds me a lot of The Last of Us. Because the way they've handled the environments, it's just gorgeous. Like I could just sit around messing with the included camera mode.
The photo mode is addictive because the game is amazing looking.
It's amazing looking. It's breathtaking that how much everything does feel alive.
Yeah.
I can't think of a single time where I saw like a muddy texture.
Right.
Glitches were very rare, at least for me. Although when they do happen, they're funny as hell.
It's like
because it often involves character skeletons being stretched out,
falling through the floor,
like that. It's amazing.
But yeah, it's wow. It's hard. There's a mini game. I was drinking with another friend. Like, there's a mini game in Uncharted 4, and it's how long can you go before taking another picture? And he messaged me back at maybe 10 minutes after he turned the game on, like, I failed. And just the game is amazing. It's just gorgeous. And the photo mode is just like they're showing off. Like, yeah, go ahead, take a picture, as many pictures as you want from any angle, and here's some filters and effects and focus you can do. So
beautiful.
The photo mode is robust, and it's just like, man, you can just look at just play around in that game.
Which reminds me,
stuff.
Thank you to Sucker Punch Studios for developing the photo mode for the PlayStation games,
right?
And then just giving that technology away.
Yeah. Here, take it.
Because that is so good.
Because the first next gen game I had it in was Shadow of Mordor, and I was like, okay, cool. And I thought that looked good, 2 years ago. And now we got Uncharted 4, and it's like,
Uncharted 4 is eyeball bleedingly beautiful.
Yeah. It would be cool if MGS5 put a photo mode in. That would make me go back to the game. But Uncharted 4 is amazing looking. Like, I can't understate that. I can't overstate, how amazing this game is. It's a new bar. Period.
It does raise the bar in terms of visuals and storytelling. I thought that the story was exceptionally engaging. They didn't have the same writers from the previous Uncharted games. They actually had the writers. They had the writers from The Last of Us. They had the directors from The Last of Us. And I really did feel a lot of that influence in the game, which is why I very much said, like, it feels like they took a lot from The Last of Us remake.
Because the game is very much about family.
It is.
The story between Drake, his brother, and his wife, and his old-time buddy, Sully, and their frenemy / rival, Rafe, I was about to forget his name, is like, there's, from The Last of Us, it's about family. And that you definitely see a lot of that carry over to Uncharted 4, and they really bring Nathan Drake's adventures to a close by showing him, putting the stuff away and moving on and having a family with Elena. They got married in like the last game or the one before that, so don't even try to spoiler me on that.
Yeah.
But that's the struggle he's dealing with, is his need for adventure versus his need for normalcy, and trying to reconcile that. I do think it's funny though that they never really deal with Nate's love for violence. Like Nate is supposed to be this everyman who's like really kind of casual and charming and makes light of the situation at hand, regardless of what's happening. Like he's able to just deal with it and find the silver lining. And you kill so many people in Uncharted games. Like, they kind of lampshade it in the second one.
Well, yeah.
When you get to the last guy, but he's like, how many of my men have you killed just today? And he's like, shut up.
Yeah.
But in this one, they all come back to it, you know.
The funny thing is, like, in the other games, he would wisecrack while killing guys. In this game, there are no wisecracks during these scenes. In fact, anytime there's a scene, they have really amped up the stealth in this game.
Mm-hmm.
They want you to be as non-confrontational as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And that's apparent in the dialogue that Drake has.
Yeah.
He's like, anytime you get into a firefight, he's like, that was a close one. Like, other characters like his brother Sam, he goes like, that could have been really bad.
Yeah.
And I want to say that it's amazing that they took a character who has never been mentioned before, who it turns out is absolutely essential to the plotline of Uncharted.
Yeah.
And made me sit there through its writing, through its acting, through everything, go, okay, I kind of believe it. This isn't just a contrivance. This isn't a contrivance in any way. They did a really beautiful job with it.
Mm-hmm.
The storyline is so good that I went ahead and bought the season pass that includes an extra chapter for the storyline that continues the story from the ending, which we're not going to come anywhere near spoiling here. No. Just know that it has an exceptionally satisfying end that does not... First of all, when it says a thief's end, they mean it.
Yeah. Very satisfying, honestly.
Exceptionally satisfying. I just was blown away. I sat there, I got the game, and I played it through from beginning to end as often as I could. What a marvelous experience. The controls feel just as good as Uncharted 2's, which is nice because Uncharted 3 felt weird and sloppy.
A little bit, yeah.
It didn't feel right. It didn't feel as satisfying, but it feels greatly satisfying in this game. Although Uncharted finally has done a thing where instead of having Tomb Raider copy Uncharted, Uncharted has copied Tomb Raider Anniversary by including a grappling hook and rope.
Huzzah!
And that's like the major platforming difference of the game.
It's a great mechanic, and it's really cool.
It feels good.
There's a subtle engineering or software engineering marvel where you latch ropes around trees or objects, and the rope realistically becomes taut, and you use it for leverage. And it's a subtle thing. It's a little thing that you didn't see in games last generation, and it's in now. And it's like, if you're paying attention, you're like, oh, cool. That's something that just wasn't being done. Like, they might have been able to do it, but it would have been like really resource intensive.
Yeah, they use it for that a couple of times. They mostly use it for platforming.
Swinging. That
said, every time I got into a swing where I would actually go to a grapple, to another grapple, to another grapple, I was like, Bionic Commando remade would be really good now.
Yeah.
If they had played this game.
Yeah.
instead of
just reverse engineered it.
Yeah. It plays well. It visually stunning. The storyline's great.
Yeah. A couple things I didn't like were the flashback levels where you're Nathan and his brother as a kid. Like, I felt like it was like too much of it. I respected the prologue parts, but coming back to it later just felt like, oh, come on, like,
my problem,
I don't really do this anymore.
Yeah, my problem was that it totally interrupted the flow of action.
Exactly. It was disruptive. It was very disruptive.
Like, if they had gotten it, the problem is, like, then where do you put it? Because it is all important.
Yeah.
But it's like,
I'm sure they were
we haven't, like, we haven't braced ourselves for having a slower moment. We haven't hit a proper plateau.
Yeah.
Everything's ramping up, and then...
And then flashback scene. You're a kid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was very disruptive.
Let me know when I can be Nolan North again.
Right. I want to be Big Nate. I won't be a little nerd.
That said, I mean,
I don't care about his punker brother.
One of the complaints I have is
Punker
that
dropout brother.
the multiplayer, while fun, is again non-essential.
Yeah.
And has microtransactions.
Not cute. Not cute.
For reasons. I don't know. Anytime, and by the way, because
can you buy little boots?
No. You buy hats.
You buy hats?
Hats. They're cosmetic. Anytime we do as any save, we will bring up things that are microtransactions in games. So even though there's a game that we really, really, really like, if it's got a microtransaction in it, that's a problem. Because there's no other way other than grinding through multiplayer to try to earn it. The only benefit is when you buy things and that are randomized, or you pay to get a randomization, it will not repeat. So you're guaranteed to not get repeats. There's no duplicates.
I can respect that at least.
Which means that it's one step above the next game that we're going to review.
Oh. But before that, so that's the flashback scenes, specifically the second one in the middle of the game.
Yeah.
Was really not great, and then
not great.
Because it just broke up the flow of the game. I understand, I didn't want to do it all front-loaded in the beginning of the game because that would have been a lot of time in just prologue crap.
I want to get to jump and shoot, man.
It would have been like that 2 or 3 hours in Kingdom Hearts 2 where you're playing with Roxas, and you're just like, when do I get to be awesome grown-up Sora?
You mean that 2 to 3 hour mistake in front of Kingdom Hearts?
I brought that game over to my friend's house, yo, I got Kingdom Hearts 2, let's do this. And then I'm just playing it, and you're just like, who is this guy, and why am I running errands?
Imagine...
I don't know, it's going to get awesome soon, I guess. Just wait.
Yeah, well, imagine being the guy who played Chain of Memories on the Game Boy Advance, and then sat there playing Kingdom Hearts 2 with a buddy of mine who didn't, and having to explain everything. So I was like, yeah, this happened. When? In the Game Boy Advance game. What? You mean I had to buy a different system?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Kingdom Hearts' current storyline is the equivalent of a garbage heap.
Or a plate of spaghetti.
Ass spaghetti. That said, Uncharted 4. Retail value is $59.99.
Yes.
What would you say is the Zenny value?
I'm going to go ahead and give it 60, man. I enjoyed that game from start to finish. I have very few gripes with that game. It's a complete package, and people might cite its length, maybe, but I mean, it's an 8 to 10 hour game. Maybe a little longer, depending on your skill level, but and it has multiplayer if you're interested in playing online with people, and you can apply the mechanics from the game directly to the multiplayer. The rope swinging, people have been doing some really cool stunts or whatever, swinging and shooting and all that stuff. So you can
do it with a sniper rifle.
So you can net at least another 24 hours out of the game just by virtue of it having multiplayer, and it's solid. It's fun, but inconsequential because you're there for the campaign mode. You're here for the story, and just it's a complete. It feels like a complete polished game, and for that I'm giving it asking price.
I am actually going to go above and beyond and say it is worth more than the asking price. It is actually worth it, at least to me, for the price of the game at $60 plus the $30 to get the season pass, so you can get the extra bonus chapter of storyline. The Last of Us had an extra bonus storyline in it, and it was fantastic.
Yeah,
it was 5 to 10 hours of extra gameplay, and it was stunning.
Yeah, they nailed it.
And I was knowing that quality is what's going to be put forth for Uncharted 4s, I am proud to say that I have paid $90 for my Uncharted 4 experience, and I'm so excited and I'm so happy.
Yeah.
So full price all the way. Can't wait to see what the DLC package is like. We'll do a proper review of that when it comes out, because mine's going to be ready day one.
His body is ready. All right. brief mention, shout out to Guilty Gear Xrd Revelator. I tried to get a review copy this week, but no stores had it. So I ordered it.
Guilty Gear Zerd?
No, it's not. It's not Zerd, Pete. It's XR.
But it's the letter X,
right?
And then RD.
Yeah, but if you watch the video, he says Guilty Gear XR.
But wasn't it Guilty Gear Doubles X back in the day?
Yeah, I guess it was Guilty Gear X2 or XX, depending on how they wrote it.
Guilty Gear Xrd.
XR, because I don't know, maybe they have something against threes. I don't know.
To be fair, their last numbered Guilty Gear game was terrible.
Yeah.
So, can't wait to see that review because that's actually.
I'm really looking forward to that game. It's in the mail.
Arc System Works are consistently great company.
Yeah.
With the exception of the Dragon Ball game they made for the 3DS. What a weird fighting game that was.
I'm sure there's a lot of good reasons for that. Nobody makes a bad game on purpose.
True. So that's it. I'm looking forward to seeing that as soon as possible.
Yeah, definitely.
When does the game come in?
Probably Monday or Tuesday, depending based on when I ordered it. It was just earlier this week.
I'll see you Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah.
Up next, we've got our next review of the day for Overwatch. Overwatch is fantastic. I'm coming in as a person who, growing up, I was not big into first-person shooters. The first-person shooting game I got into was Team Fortress 2, and I got into that huge. How huge, you may ask? Yeah, go over to my Steam account. You can see that I've put in over 1,200 hours since 2009.
Wow.
That's a lot. I think somebody did the math, and they're like, that averages out to like 50 hours a year or something like that. Like at least half an hour a day for every day for the past few years.
Man.
So I don't really get into first-person shooters that often, but Team Fortress 2 is different because it was a class-based team game where you really needed to work together, or otherwise, whatever goal you're working on, it's not going to work. And there was no deathmatch in it. It was always capture the flag, or capture a point, or escort a payload. I liked that. It felt really good. Overwatch is the newest game from Blizzard Entertainment, from the folks that made World of Warcraft, the Warcraft movie, StarCraft, anything that ends in craft that's not mine.
Yeah.
And they, I've
surprised they didn't come after me.
You'd be worried. The funny thing is, I've never had a great relationship with Blizzard games in the past. I personally can't stand playing Warcraft or StarCraft.
Really?
I hated the Lost Vikings back in the day. Rock and Roll Racing is crap. And I kind of liked this one game, Blackthorn. It was okay. There's a reason. It's okay.
Right.
It's a cinematic platformer from 1994 with designs by Jim Lee.
Oh. Oh, I think you did tell me about that.
And it features orcs.
You told me about that game.
Because everything they do features orcs to some degree.
I remember playing not World of Warcraft, but Warcraft 2 back in the early to mid 90s and just having a blast. And then a cousin of mine, an older cousin who could buy games whenever he wanted, had StarCraft. And I was like, there's a StarCraft? And just being blown away. They had Warcraft, now they got StarCraft with space, and that's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
So I thought that was great. Then we had a family get together, and I was just upstairs in his office playing StarCraft the whole time.
I will say this for Blizzard games. If they've not been made for me, they are of an exceptionally high quality.
Right.
Like, I played World of Warcraft for like a month and a half, however long I had it for free.
Yeah.
I was like, it's alright, but this is not for me.
Yeah.
And I've always been like that of every Blizzard game that I've ever played. Like, this is good. This is high quality. This is well published. It's not for me. They finally made a game for me. And I love Overwatch. I have enjoyed many games. I've enjoyed a lot of games that have come out in the past 2 years for the PlayStation 4. I have not loved any of them. I got a chance to play the beta for Overwatch. And in playing the beta, and I fell intensely in love with this game. one of the things is because the beta had the exact same content as the finished product. They were like, everything you see in the beta, you're going to get in the final game. The only thing that is that your character in development is not going to carry over. I was like, okay, because that's fair.
People who didn't play the beta don't want to get skunked on day one.
Right, and that's fair. So Overwatch is a class-based 6-person team first-person shooter featuring 21 different characters. When I say 21 different characters, all of them are different. There is no two characters that are alike.
That's really impressive.
And
I'm actually... Street Fighter has Ryu and Ken at bare minimum.
Right, and there isn't that in this game. And depending on the way you format your team, you will be successful or you will die. And the game will give you hints as to what to choose when you're on the selection screen. Like, it'll tell you don't have any tanks. You need a healer. You have too many snipers, maybe. It'll tell you all that. And that is of a great benefit because you want as balanced a team as possible. Mm-hmm. That said, it doesn't always work out well. If you go up against a team that has like 6 builders, you're probably going to die. One of the things they need to work on in this game is character balancing in terms of limiting what you can do. Granted, they don't have the competitive play up yet, where it has got a ranking system. They just have had the quick play up. I don't imagine that anything like that will come to quick play. Like, pretty much guarantee it for the ranked play when that comes up.
Right.
So here's the thing. You have 21 different characters. I am actually going to have to try to time myself so I don't go over talking about each and every one of these characters. I'm going to try to do each character in 30 seconds.
And I'm going to time him.
All right.
And start the clock now.
Genji is a ninja. He has a double jump feature, fire shuriken in 2 formats, 3 quick shots forward or a spread shot. He also has an ultimate ability. Every character has an ultimate ability, and his that he can pull out a sword that he runs around with for 7 seconds doing high damage. The next one up is Pharah. Pharah is a character who has a rocket launcher and a concussion blast. The concussion blast does no damage, but it pushes enemies away. Her rocket launcher has 6 rounds, and she can fly and hover. Her ultimate attack unleashes a giant barrage. Next character. McCree. McCree is your old-timey gunsmith from the Old West style character. He has an ultimate ability called High Noon, where if he can focus on a character long enough, he can one-shot them, and that can go for anybody in his line of vision. If you have 6 bullets and 6 enemies on the screen, you can kill 6 of them at once. He also has the ability to throw pocket sand and fan the hammer to instantly kill people pretty quickly.
Pocket sand!
Pocket sand!
I kid you not, that's what it is.
You're doing great.
Soldier 76 is what I would call your average character. He has the ability to run. Not everybody has very fast run speed, but he can actually dash like in Call of Duty. He has a straightforward machine gun. He also has the ability to put down a small healing shield and fire 1 rocket that has a 10-second cooldown. Ultimate ability is that he can scope out anybody, and it does auto-aim for about 5 seconds.
Nice.
Tracer is a character who I like to call, she's coming up from behind to kill you. She has very low health, but she's very speedy. She can teleport across the map, and she can actually rewind the last 3 seconds of her life to regain any health. Her ultimate ability is a sticky bomb that when it tosses on you, if it hits, and you're around anybody else, it's going to blow up and y'all are going to die. Reaper is an amazing character who has 2 double shotguns, can kill off almost anybody if they're up close right next to them in about 2 of those shots, can teleport briefly across the map, has a hover ability where he doesn't do damage but also doesn't take any damage. His ultimate ability is called the Death Blossom, where he just fires his guns around randomly in a circle and it kills everything in the way.
That's great.
Those are all the offense characters. Moving on to the tanks. Reinhardt is the beefiest tank that ever tanked a tank. He doesn't even have much of a shot move. He has the ability to throw a fireball once every 10 seconds, but he has a personal shield that can protect anybody and anything for 2,000 damage. He also has the ability to charge forward, and if you pin somebody while they charge forward, they'll get dizzy, take a lot of damage. His ultimate ability is the ability to smack the hammer down on the ground. It hits on a 45-degree angle, and if people are within that 45-degree angle, they all fall down, and they start taking damage from everybody else. Roadhog is an immensely fun tank to play. Roadhog has a shotgun that can either fire a standard shotgun blast or a concentrated mid-range blast. He also has a hook that can grab people from across the map, bring them in, and then he can fire a shotgun blast and then use his melee to 1-2 kill them for the most part. He also has the ability to regain 300 health from his own little health pack. That's rechargeable for about 8 seconds. His ultimate ability pulls out a chain gun, which does moderate damage, but mostly pushes the enemies off points and possibly into pits.
Time.
Winston is the character that most people recognize. He is a gorilla. He has an electronic gun, which can fire out 3 beams at once, hitting multiple targets. He can also take out traps. He has his own personal shield, which doesn't last very long. It's actually pretty poor compared to Reinhardt's. He has the ability to also jump across the map and cause damage when he lands. His ultimate is the ability to run across the map as a crazy ape with a lot of extra health and the ability to smack people away. The next tank is Zarya. Zarya is an interesting character because she has personal shields that help power up her railgun. Her railgun can either fire out short grenades for 4 shots, or have a short beam which can decimate enemies, particularly if they're charged up from the shields. She has the ultimate ability of a gravity bomb, which will pull in anybody around her, bring them into one spot, and then the rest of your teammates can go ahead and blast away. As a character who is interesting because she's a tank and also not a tank. Whenever she's in her robot mode, she can fire off an infinite number of shotgun blasts or absorb damage. However, she can also detonate her tank by zooming it forward, pressing the triangle button, blowing up the enemies, and when she's out of her tank, she has 150 health and a handgun that does a lot of damage. That's it for the tanks. Moving on to the support class, there's only 4 of them, which seems kind of weird, so maybe when they add some new characters, they'll get some more of those. Lucio is a character who runs around and has the ability to either make everybody move fast or heal everybody in an area. He has his ultimate ability causes everybody to gain an immense amount of shield for a temporary period of time, and he can also wall hug and blast enemies off stages. Mercy is your traditional healing character. Not only can she heal characters, but she can also buff them to do extra damage, but you can only choose one of the 2 at the time. She can also zoom over to a targeted character, so let's say if you have a Pharah flying up in the air and you target her, she'll fly up in the air after that person, and her ultimate ability is to resurrect the dead.
Oh, she's a super threat.
Symmetra is kind of an amazing character because while she does have a very short range, medium damage gun, she can put up 6 sentry units that the longer they focused on you, the more damage they're going to do and slow you down. She can place them anywhere on the environment at any time, and she also gets a teleporter for her ultimate ability, allowing you to move across the map much faster. Finally, probably the most recognizable of the support units is Zenyatta. Zenyatta is a Zen robot who carries 10 orbs around him at all times, and he can fire them off in rapid succession. Most importantly, he has a healing orb that you can give to teammates, and the Discord orb, which does 60% more damage on any target after they've been hit with it. His ultimate ability is the healing chant, where everybody in his area on his own team will be instantly healed.
Very cool. Next.
Moving on to the defensive characters. Mei. Everybody loves Mei. Mei is the best. Mei is heart. Mei is love. Mei is life. Mei has an ice gun that, when you fire it on the alternate, it shoots out an icicle that does heavy damage. But if you use the regular shot, it can freeze enemies in place, which you can then use your alternate shot to kill them. She also has an ice wall ability, which can block off enemies exceptionally well. And she also has the ability to encase herself in ice to regain health. Her ultimate ability causes her little robot buddy to jump out and in an area of effect, freeze them in place.
Whoa. Ice, baby.
Junkrat is the demo man from Team Fortress 2. I'm really not joking here because he has the ability to jump on top of his bombs and jump up into new areas. He has the ability to lay down 2 types of traps. One's a spring trap, which causes people to stop in place, and another one is the aforementioned mine that you can use to jump off from other people. He has a 5-round shot of shooting grenades that have 3 bounce and then they explode, or they explode on contact.
Whoa.
High damage character, he also has the ability to pull out a tire as his ultimate. That tire you can move around to if you want to do. Hit your enemies, you control it completely, but if they destroy it and then destroy you, that's kind of your problem.
Time.
Widowmaker is a sniper character in the game. She is literally got a gun that can alternate between a sniper mode by holding in the L2 to zoom in, or a machine gun by pressing the regular fire button. She also has the ability to drop down a poison bomb, which will slowly sap people's health. And more importantly, she has the ability to use a rope to get to high areas on the maps. Her special ability is what I like to call sight beyond sight, because it literally allows you to see where all the enemies are on the map as they're outlined in red, even through walls.
Nice.
Very handy. Hanzo is the other sniper of the game, and I would like to think of him as more of an offensive sniper. Hanzo has the ability to have 3 different types of arrows. There's the standard arrow that you fire, hit, well, they're going to die. You have a multi-splash arrow where the best ability is that if you aim it towards their feet, it'll split off into multiple fragments and destroy people. And then you have the sight beyond sight arrow, which, within a small radius, will give you the same ability as Widowmaker's ultimate. His ultimate is the ability to fire double dragons, which, if enemies are within that line of fire, they're gonna die. He's firing dragons.
What do you expect? Next.
Then there's Bastion. Bastion is a robot. He has a gun. But he also has the ability to transform. His ultimate transforms him into a tank that does high damage, but he also has the ability to normally transform into a chain gun that's stationary. He's a high-risk, high-reward character because he is a glass cannon. He doesn't have much health, but he can heal himself if he can get away in time.
Okay. Next.
Finally, the last character that's available at launch is Torborn. Torborn is not a dwarf, he is Swedish. Torborn has the ability to place down a sentry gun. The sentry gun can be leveled up to level 2, and his normal gun fires off rivets that move in an arc, or you can use the alt fire to make it work as a shotgun. Does great damage as a shotgun up close. The rivets do great damage from a distance. His ultimate ability allows him to do Molten Core, which levels up his sentry gun to level 3, gives him about 500 extra armor, which will slowly dissipate, and allows him to fire 5 times faster.
Amazing.
He's a little death machine. Woo! Oy. And that
has exercised the demons.
Is the launch characters of Overwatch. What's really impressive to me is the fact that they announced that when you buy the game, you get these characters, they're complete, that's it.
Yeah.
They have all their abilities, and the cool thing is, any new characters or maps that are coming out, they're coming out for free.
Wow.
There's no DLC pack, there's no, you gotta buy Overwatch version 2.0, there's no Burning Crusades Overwatch. This is it. This is the game, and you're gonna get more characters. They've already been teasing that the next character might be coming out sooner than we think.
Wow.
And I'm really excited about that. That's a very, it's already a quality game with a bunch of different characters that you can choose based on the way you play. A lot of people, when they play Team Fortress 2, they go, well, who's your main? And you have that one character that's your main. I've asked so many other people, and I've made a lot of new friends playing Overwatch because mic play is key.
Yeah.
You're going to lose without a microphone.
Talk to each other.
You need to. You will die otherwise. But I've talked to them, I was like, well, who's your main? And they go, well, it's like these 3 characters. Because no one situation calls for one character.
Wow.
You may have a character you like more than others, but you really are sitting there going, well, I use this, this, and this in equal amounts.
Yeah.
And that is so cool. And there's so many characters to choose from. There's so many ways that can work out. It's so great. The maps, the only problem I would say right now is that there are only certain gameplay modes that can be played on certain maps. I think that they need to have multiple gameplay modes of like capture the flag, capture the point, and payload on all the different maps. Because right now, like if I go to Ilios in Greece, the only thing I can do is capture the point. And that's it. If I go to Hollywood, the only thing I can do is the payload mission.
I mean, you could even, and this would take time, but you could even have a new map but with the same designs or art direction.
Right.
For capture the flag, you said.
That's what I'm saying. That they probably will do. I mean, that's what Team Fortress did.
Right.
And they're already doing so much in its footsteps, they might as well go the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. You go ahead and keep copying the notebook. Go ahead. Yeah.
That said, there is a leveling system in the game, which is totally arbitrary. Leveling up gets you loot boxes. And loot boxes give you customization options. Whether that's sprays to tag on the walls, character costumes. There's emotes in the game where your character will like do a little thing, do a little animation. Like for Lucio, you can get him doing breakdancing, like in the middle of a match if you want to, and that's always fun. But there is a problem. After level 20, loot boxes are few and far between.
Stingy.
They're super stingy about it because, again, you have to get XP by playing games. They have microtransactions in the game.
No.
And
Blizzard, what you doing?
Loot boxes are available in the following paid programs. 2 for $2, 5 for $5, 11 for $10, 24 for $20, or 50 for $40.
Well, I don't want to lose money on this $40.
So you put $40 down. The problem with this system is the fact that you can get duplicates.
Oh, no.
And how do they deal with duplicates? They give you credits, which you can then use to buy customizations that maybe you wanted. And this is problematic because the amount of credits that you get are... There's no other way to get credits other than getting replications in loot boxes. So, and since loot boxes are totally random, you can guarantee that there's some people that have been playing this game are like level 50.
Buttload of credits.
Well, they're level 50, but the way they give out credits is abysmal. Sprays give you 5 credits. Player icons give you 5 credits. Emotes give you 10 credits. Player colors give you 15 credits, and then legendary costumes give you 25. And then you might get the occasional credit drop of 50, 150, or 500. Legendary costumes cost 1,000 credits, and those are the really cool ones.
Right.
Emotes cost 250 credits. It's expensive, and there's no other way to earn credits. I really hope and pray that when they bring out the competitive mode, they give you credits as a reward for winning, because this is kind of BS.
Yeah.
And it's really BS when you realize there is an achievement in the game that is tied to getting 50 items for one character. That's whether that's all the sprays, animations, costumes, highlight intros, all that.
So if you want to platinum this game, you're going to drop some money.
If you want to platinum this game, you're going to drop some money. That's just a bottom line. And that's really, really
That's a little greasy.
sad.
That's a little greasy, Blizzard.
That's exceptionally greedy. And it's a black mark on what is otherwise an amazing game.
Yeah.
The controls are tight. I have only been kicked out of 2 games since launch.
Wow.
2 games.
Oh, wow. That's
great. I have had 0 frame dropping. I've never dealt with any sort of lag. The in-game chat works great. I still use the party chat sometimes in case one of my friends does happen to get kicked out or whatever, or they got to leave and then come back later. It's just, this game is so much fun. You find different characters to play as. You figure out all the different neat things on the map. You find the hidden spots that maybe your enemy doesn't realize, and then you utilize it, and it's amazing. I have to say that Overwatch is the most fun I have had playing a PlayStation 4 game. Is it worth the $60 price of admission? Knowing that there's going to be more characters and more maps coming for the low, low price of free? Absolutely. Overwatch is a full price game all the way. And one of the cool things is, if you buy the physical game, the Origins Edition, which is the only way you can get a physical copy of the game, it actually comes with some free extra character costumes that you can't get if you just bought it digitally or if you pirated it. So I have to say, Overwatch, I paid $60 for it. I am ridiculously happy.
I mean, you guys have put at least 24 hours in this game by now.
Oh, no, I put in more.
Yeah, at least.
I have...
Probably 50
at this point, I'm close to 60 or 70 hours.
Yeah. I know. You've been gushing about this game.
I have been gushing about this game. And if you see me on the PSN, I'm probably playing that if not watching YouTube.
Yeah.
Where I'm watching Overwatch videos. To say, I will be buying an Overwatch hat. Because they have them on the Blizzard store. I have not gone all in for like merchandising for a game like this before. Why aren't there action figures yet?
Yeah, I mean, those should have been out on the day 0.
Day 0. I mean, heck, I've
before
even got
the game came out.
I've got the light up keychain. That's how much I like Overwatch.
Like, yeah, you guys need to get some toys on the shelf, man.
Make it happen.
Some great looking characters. Even people who aren't playing the game will be like, "Yo, who's that? I want to get this."
And that said,
merchandising.
When those merchandising events come out, do what Team Fortress 2 did. Include a downloadable code that allows you to get items in-game that are exclusive for actually buying the figure. Like maybe you want to give us 30 goddamn loot boxes for buying your $20 figure. Just saying.
Do the right thing.
If it happens, you can give me credit.
Yeah. Do the right thing, Blizzard. It's simple.
Exceptional. A+ 10 out of 10. I can't wait for you to get a
$59.99.
Can't wait for you to get a copy, Kevin. I'm just saying.
Well, priority. You know, after I stop spending money on all these Comic Cons, and you know, I can buy some more video games.
Comic conventions, you say?
Yeah, comic conventions.
You're attending different comic conventions?
Side note: if you didn't know, I make comic books and art and stuff, so I'm at comic book conventions. I'm gonna be at Heroes Con And what is that? Next weekend on June 17th?
Dates and location.
I want to say Charlotte, North Carolina. If you haven't got your ticket yet and they're not sold out, you should totally go and come say hi to me. And you should totally buy my comic book, Stronghold. He's had this hat for a while. He just likes shamelessly pimping it out. I didn't put him up to this.
But you also have a new comic book out, and what is that?
A new comic book. It's titled Ride, and simply put, it's monsters, motorcycles, and thus mayhem.
Monsters, motorcycles, and mayhem? That's all right. The M's I need in my life.
You know it, baby. It's going to be a lot of fun. Man. Issue 1's coming out, debuting at Heroes Con, so
Wait a minute. To it. You know what else ends in M's?
What?
ROM. ROM ends in M's. And aren't you doing a special cover for ROM Space Knight coming out from IDW Studios?
I am doing an exclusive Comic-Con, Comic-Con exclusive cover for ROM Space Knight coming out this October.
Oh my god!
At Virginia Comic-Con.
That's amazing!
It's going to be great. 2-day show. I don't know if tickets are on sale for that show yet, but keep an eye out for the Virginia Comic-Con. If you're on the East Coast, you should go. It's fun.
That's great!
Yeah!
I love everything.
All right.
We've had so many good games today. We've had so many good things today. I'm worried about next week.
Yeah. Well, yeah, E3. Woo! All right.
It's going to be a post-E3 show.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
E3 postmortem. So, keep an eye, keep it locked on Zenny Save. Until next time, play hard.
And save you, Zenny.
Peace.